Only one Star Trek Enterprise actor made an official comeback in canon, and it was a big shock. Star Trek Enterprise has always held a peculiar place within the franchise. As the prequel series that charted humanity's earliest ventures into deep space, it carried the burden of explaining how the optimistic Federation came to be. The show gave fans a unique crew, an experimental starship, and a tone that shifted between gritty realism and classic Trek optimism. Yet, when it ended in 2005 after just 4 seasons, Enterprise was left with an unfinished legacy. Many fans expected some of its cast to eventually return in new Star Trek projects. After all, the franchise has never been shy about revisiting its past. And yet, nearly 2 decades later, only one Enterprise actor has officially returned to canon. Even more surprising is who it was, and how their comeback reshaped their place in the Star Trek mythos. Enterprise's characters seemed primed for a return. If you had asked fans in 2005 which Enterprise characters were most likely to return, the answers would have been easy to guess. Jonathan Archer, the determined first captain of Starfleet's NX-01, seemed destined to appear again in some form. After all, Archer was written into the Federation's founding story, even mentioned by name in Star Trek Discovery. Likewise, Topol, as the Vulcan science officer whose struggle between logic and emotion made her a fascinating proto-Spock, was ripe for further storytelling. Characters like Charles, Trip, Tucker, and Dr. Phlox also had loyal followings. With the rise of Strange New Worlds and Discovery, both set in roughly the same pre-TOS timeline, many assumed Enterprise alumni would find new life. But while Archer and Topol have been name-dropped, and Phlox has popped up in non-canon media, the actors themselves remain absent. Except, of course, for one unexpected player. The surprise return. Admiral Maxwell Forrest. The one Enterprise actor to officially come back was not a main cast member at all, but recurring guest star Vaughn Armstrong. He played Admiral Maxwell Forrest, a high-ranking Starfleet officer who served as a mentor and occasional foil to Captain Archer. Forrest embodied the spirit of early Starfleet, supportive of exploration but cautious in dealing with alien powers like the Vulcans and Andorians. Forrest's shocking return came in Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, where Armstrong reprised his role in animated form. The episode leaned into Trek's tradition of honoring legacy characters, but few fans expected Forrest, who died heroically in Enterprise Season 4, to be the one revisited. Why Forrest's comeback was a shock. On the surface, Forrest's return might seem like an odd choice. He was not part of the NX-01 bridge crew, nor did he anchor major arcs beyond his mentorship of Archer. Yet that's precisely why his comeback was so surprising. Star Trek often celebrates its icons, Spock, Picard, Sisko, Janeway, but Forrest was more of a background figure, a steady hand at Starfleet Command rather than a frontline hero. By resurrecting him in Lower Decks, the franchise did 2 things at once. First, it honored Enterprise's often overlooked contributions by spotlighting a figure from that era. Second, it reminded fans that Starfleet's history isn't built on captains alone. Bureaucrats, admirals, and behind-the-scenes leaders matter too. Forrest may not have been a fan favorite like Trip or Topol, but he represented the institutional backbone of humanity's leap into the stars. Vaughn Armstrong, the actor of 1,000 Faces. Another layer to this shock lies in Vaughn Armstrong himself. He's something of a legend in Star Trek, having played over a dozen different characters across multiple series, from Klingons to Cardassians to Romulans. Few actors embody Trek's versatility quite like Armstrong. In a way, his comeback wasn't just about Forrest, it was about honoring Armstrong's long history with the franchise. That's why his Lower Decks appearance felt like a sly wink to longtime fans. While casual viewers might have shrugged at Forrest's return, Trek diehards recognized the deeper resonance. Here was an actor who had literally been a part of Star Trek's DNA for decades, finally brought back in canon to represent one of his most significant roles. What it means for Enterprise's legacy. Forrest's surprise cameo highlights an ongoing truth about Enterprise. Its legacy is complicated but enduring. The series was once criticized for its uneven tone and controversial finale, but over time, fans have grown to appreciate its contributions. By acknowledging Forrest, Lower Decks effectively said, Enterprise matters too. It also suggests that other characters might one day follow. With strange new worlds thriving, there's fertile ground for